evening, Museum of Comedy. Hello. It's really, really nice that they've chosen decor that goes with my frock. Thanks, guys. That's the kind of planning I appreciate. My name's Emily. I once spent an entire afternoon with a prawn cracker in my hair, and I didn't notice. Damn right, sir, I did eat it. Because I am edgy, oh yeah. I have good news, though. I've recently found a way to make a lot of extra money to offset against the prohibitive cost of living in London. What I've started doing is renting out my uterus. I have, as a small studio apartment. It might be weird, but the decor's interesting, probably. And it is very definitely next to two tubes. Yeah. The last time I was at the doctor's, they said, "Are you sexually active?" I said, "If anything, I'm sexually lethargic." I should point out that it was your special lady test, by which I mean a smear test, because I was protecting my investment. And not, the doctor going, "Oh, you're here for the lady test. Do you like these shoes?" They're all right. "You have passed the lady test. Now you must carry this heavy handbag for all eternity and don't ask me why." But no, it was that kind of doctor's appointment. It wasn't just a regular one where you turn up and you go, "I'm a bit phlegmy," and the doctor goes, "Never mind that, are you getting any?" That very rarely happens at the doctor's, or that very rarely happens. Just in case anyone's worried, by the way, especially with the lighting in here, I would like to point out that despite the configuration of my face, I am not the ghost of a Victorian child. I know it's confusing, because what I've got going on from the neck up today, neck down, it's, oh shit, some goths do shop at Primark. But, thank you. It's funny because it's true. Laugh at my pain. From the neck up, it's a look best suited to being pressed at a window at 2 o'clock in the morning, pouring at the glass with abnormally long fingernails and saying things like, "Why couldn't we have had crumpets at Michaelmas? Why?" And the problem with that is I'm quite an angry person. How angry am I? The other day I called a baked potato a prick. On reflection, not entirely sure it deserved it. But I could be up here, I could be one of those angry comedians, I could be saying all sorts of words like flaps or flange, and you guys would just be like, "Oh, is somebody grumpy?" Yeah, of course I'm fucking grumpy. That's not funny, that's just therapy. But I do have hobbies to kind of boost my spirits. I should also mention, by the way, I have depression and anxiety. Fa la 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 la. Christmas jokes carrying on until January. Woo! All that means for me is that a bad day is when the anxiety goes, "Emily, freak out now!" And the depression goes, "I don't see the point." But to kind of boost my spirits, I have a lot of interests. I like to go to open mic poetry nights and heckle. I'm not proud of this, but it is really, really funny. What you do is you hang around in the back of the room and the person on stage is versifying and they are pouring their heart out. And you stand in the shadows at the back of the room and go, "Call that a stanza, mate!" Your metaphors are dead flies on the window of the 134 bus. Your similes are like... not good similes. And then eventually one of the poets will go, "Who the fuck let a ghost of a Victorian child in here?" I specifically specified no ghosts after the mid-18th century. Begone, oh misbegotten spirits, because, poets, right? Oh, yeah, stick it to the... I'm really punching the deserving targets. Oh, look at you with your blouses on. You poets. But I have always been a fan of stories and literature. I made a point I've got to be getting a BA Hons in literature before I had sex with another person. I know, I am that cool. I would go bounding into the student union bar of a Monday afternoon and be like, "Hey, what'd you do at the weekend, guys? Was it MDMA? Was it jungle music?" It was the 90s. Shit, I could just get away with being younger than I am and say I'm being charmingly retro. Do you know what I did at the weekend, guys? I read the fuck out of some Herman Melville. Who wants to touch me? Not when I'm reading. But I realised when I got a little bit older that, in fact, you could use books for seductive purposes. So if you're in a bookstore and you see someone sexy, you can go, call me, Ishmael. Just don't think comedy should just be about dick jokes, you know. Sometimes there should be Moby Dick jokes. Hey. But my favourite kind of story, weirdly enough, is a ghost story. If I had a face like a Panzer tank, I'd like more stories about war. But I don't. No one does. Again, factual rather than funny. Would anyone like to hear a ghost story before I go? Yeah. Can I get some spooky noises, please? Oh, nice. Good work, guys. Because sometimes I do that and the audience sounds like the ghost of a dead game show audience. That's more sad than atmospheric. But anyway, ghost story. And this is terrifying, so brace yourselves. You are moving house, but the removal man knocks over the box containing every single one of your sex toys. Some people in here can... It's nice that some people can relate in here. It's good. You are embarrassed, but somehow manage to style it out by saying, for reasons unknown, in the voice of a lady from a 1940s British film, "Oh, whatever shall I do with all of these robot hands?" Now, that isn't that scary, but what I didn't tell you is that half of those sex toys were haunted. And also, I'm very much of the opinion that fear and shame are very, very closely linked. And if you don't believe me, you've never had to watch a video of yourself doing karaoke. Because I have. What happened was this. I was at hen do. I was as well as having depression and anxiety, I also get very, very anxious in social situations. But there's medication I take for that called red wine. So I'd had quite a lot of medication. And it didn't help that on the particular hen do, the frankly slightly UKIP-y chief bridesmaid had insisted that I borrow a top of hers because it would look better than the one I brought with me. So I spent all evening wondering if my tits were racist. They're not, but I do have suspicions about the one on the right. So medication happened, anxiety happened, more medication happened. Then there was karaoke, and then the next morning over breakfast they showed me a video of the evidence, and it was me wobbling around with 2 microphones while my concerned friend goes, "Emily, you can't be Meatloaf and Cher at the same time." And I'm going, just watch me. Thank you very much.